Today is Thursday, June 20th, 2024, and you're listening to ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. Welcome to The Edge. I'm your host, Devonne, Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. When we open the phone lines later, you can call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916, which is our overseas line. We are also carrying live on ZIZ TV, as well as our social media platforms. Check us out on YouTube at ZIZ Online or via Facebook at ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation. Again, thank you for joining me on the program for today, and I look forward to interacting with you, the listeners, your take, your views and opinions on matters of national interest and matters of things that are important to St. Kitts and Nevis across the Caribbean region and on the global stage as it relates to St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to have a discussion with you today as it relates to human smuggling and human trafficking in the Caribbean and how it has plagued the region and how it has or continues to have a very negative impact on our social and economic development and trampling human rights and various laws. Recently in the Parliament, the Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2024 was passed, and the bill championed by the Attorney General, Garth Wilkin, represents a response to the growing issue of migrant smuggling into either island and through the Federation's territorial waters. We know that we've had a few instances of human smuggling here in St. Kitts and Nevis where a number of migrants have come to our shores illegally. Haitians, Dominicans, people from the Dominican Republic. We've had many instances of those over the years. And of course, when these people arrive here, they of course have to depend on the state for their survival. Human smuggling involves the illegal transportation of people across borders for financial gain, often under perilous conditions that endanger the lives of those being smuggled. And so, people spend thousands of dollars and they do all sorts of things to get access to that money in search of a better life, and they don't care how they get here or there. There is one goal, there is one mission, and that is to leave their country in search of a better life. They don't want to do it legally because doing it legally, they're going to meet certain barriers. And so unfortunately they say, well, hey, why not we just pay somebody $1,000 and 20 of us go on a boat and go into a country illegally? And sadly, that is what has been happening. And that is what has been not just affecting us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but the region. So it says that the new law marks a step in safeguarding the Federation's borders and protecting the lives of vulnerable individuals. The Attorney General has advocated for swift harmonization within the OECS to give true effect to the intents of the Act. Quote, "It is imperative that OECS member states, our geographical neighbors, enact similar and stricter anti-smuggling laws and enhance collaboration among law enforcement agencies as these human smuggling gangs operate in multiple jurisdictions," end quote, Attorney General Wilkins stated. Quote, "The Act not only penalizes those directly involved in smuggling, but also addresses the broader network of gangs supporting these illegal activities. Harmonization will give us the common tools to disrupt these cross-border criminal networks," end of quote. The penalties in the Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act are strict and aim to deter and punish individuals involved in the smuggling of migrants and related activities, while also providing measures to protect and support smuggled migrants. A conviction for smuggling carries a maximum fine of $300,000, that is $111,000 or imprisonment for 15 years or both. When human smuggling is aggravated, that is, it endangers the lives of migrants or subjects them to inhumane or degrading treatment, a conviction carries a maximum fine of $500,000 AC or imprisonment for 20 years or both. In March 2023, at least 16 Cameroonian nationals died when the boat in which they were being smuggled out of Antigua capsized in the territorial waters of St. Kitts and Nevis. Given tragic human smuggling incidents such as this, the act was drafted as a comprehensive toolkit for law enforcement officials. The act also recognizes the rights of vulnerable migrants and provides guarantees of their rights to urgent medical care, protection against violence, and assistance when their lives or safety are in danger. The AG said that this legislation sends a strong message that human smuggling will not be tolerated within St. Kitts and Nevis territorial borders. By imposing harsher penalties and enhancing support for smuggled migrants, we aim to uphold the values of compassion, justice, and human dignity that our nation holds dear, he said. By the passage of this Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act, the government has sent a message that it remains committed to upholding the rule of law and fostering regional cooperation to combat the scourge of human smuggling and the gangs that benefit therefrom. It is 14 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. I'll be sharing some numbers and statistics with you. Stay tuned.
Is unknown. Protect your life, your family, and your valuables from unforeseen circumstances. Let National Caribbean Insurance give you the peace of mind that you so deserve. At NCI, we offer a suite of affordable insurance plans that can be tailored to ease your financial burden. We aim to deliver exceptional products to satisfy all your insurance needs. Whether life, health, motor, or property insurance, NCI has the right solution for you. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales professionals are ready and able to assist you. Let National Caribbean Insurance Company Limited help you to prepare for the unexpected. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
The stage is set. The dates are locked in. National, regional, and international acts booked. It's where music meets paradise. It's a full week of an experience like no other, inviting all from near and far to come and venture deeper and enjoy our culture, our food, our people, our vibe. And it all culminates with 3 nights of explosive, exciting, and memorable performances. June 27th to the 29th on the big stage at Warner Park Cricket Stadium, kicking off 7 p.m. nightly. Share this experience with your crew and secure your tickets now. If you haven't done so already, log on to StKittsMusicFestival.com, and for just easy $135 or $50 US, you can be a part of an experience like no other.
welcome back to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne, Cornelius, your host, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. We'll open the phone lines a bit later, but I wanted to share with you as well some statistics and some more information as it relates to human smuggling in the Caribbean region. If you are just tuning in, I shared earlier that the Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2024 was successfully passed in the National Assembly on Friday, June 14th, 2024. And the bill is basically a response to the growing issue of migrant smuggling into the Federation's territorial waters. And the AG also used the opportunity to encourage other OECS member states and other countries in the region to implement such laws so that there is harmonization, so that, there is not a case where you have strong laws in St. Kitts and Nevis and you don't have strong laws in Antigua and Barbuda. And so there needs to be harmonization on this particular matter, and other matters, of course, but on this matter, so that the region together can fight human smuggling and human trafficking. So the Regional Office for Central North America and the Caribbean did a report on regional legislation, and the report is titled "A Regional Legislation, the Key Against Migrant Smuggling in the Caribbean." And this report was done in 2023 by Gabriel Deboistre, I think that's how you pronounce the name, Immigration and Border Governance Assistant for the Regional Office of San Jose. The Caribbean Community CARICOM is a group in 15 member states, home to approximately 19 million citizens, stretching from the Bahamas and Belize to Suriname and Guyana. CARICOM comprises states and territories with varying income levels, development outcomes, language profiles, ethnic groups, economic structures, and political systems. The geographical features, porous borders, and economic disparities in the Caribbean region provide conditions easily exploitable by criminal networks, especially those involved in the smuggling of migrants, firearms, narcotics, and human trafficking. These crimes contribute to regional instability and insecurity. Within this context, CARICOM has just adopted a regional legislation related to fight against the migrant smuggling for all its member states, and is in the process of developing, with the support of IOM and UNODC, its regulations and standard operational procedures. Now, why has CARICOM become a hotspot for both regional and international migrant smuggling? Long-term migration patterns in the Caribbean can be characterized by two principal dynamics. The first is emigration from the region, mainly towards North America and Europe. 7 out of 10 Caribbean migrants in the world in 2020 lived in the United States alone. The second pattern is intra-regional migration, largely characterized by the movement from Haiti to the Dominican Republic, and to a lesser extent by immigration from Haiti, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic to other territories and countries in the region, including the Bahamas. More recently, the movement of refugees and migrants from Venezuela has added complex challenges to migration, especially in the neighboring countries of the South Caribbean. The region is now a stepping stone for irregular migrants seeking to reach the United States, given its location at a crossroads between North and South America. Smugglers' networks use Caribbean countries as transit points to move hundreds of migrants, even from other continents. But many sometimes find themselves stranded or abandoned and must continue alone. Now, according to the Missing Migrants Project, migration routes in the Caribbean have the second highest number of migrant deaths and disappearances. Nearly 1,180 migrants have been reported dead or missing, with drowning accounting for 93% of the total for the period from 2016 to 2022. However, the reported total figures are likely a significant underestimate of the actual losses. Now it goes on to say, why is legislation essential to combat migrant smuggling? While many countries around the world have improved their legislation in the past years with the intention to prevent and fight migrant smuggling, several Caribbean countries have not yet updated their legal frameworks. And as the AG spoke about harmonization, it cannot be a case where in St. Kitts and Nevis we have implemented the necessary legislative framework, but in other countries in the OECS it has not been done. And so you cannot collectively fight human smuggling in the region if all the countries are not on the same page. Hence the reason why there is the call for harmonization to ensure that the laws that exist in St. Kitts and Nevis also exist in other OECS member states. It went on to say that this issue, therefore, poses a challenge to collectively combating migrant smuggling, creating loopholes that criminals can exploit, and also posing challenges to local, regional, and international cooperation and coordination. The absence or inadequacy of legislation can effectively impede the prosecution of smugglers and the protection of migrants. And so, whenever migrants come to our shores, when you don't have the necessary legislative framework in place, you can't just do the first thing that comes to mind. And I think you know what the first thing that comes to mind is. But there must be legislative framework. There must be laws in place to govern these situations so that you know exactly what is to be done, because you cannot be a lawless country and do as you like. So when you don't have the laws in place, then you put yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to allow these people to stay in the country. And that is the harsh reality. So harmonization is very important. It is good and commendable that we have passed this anti-smuggling bill here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but harmonization is very important. And so we have to ensure that the laws in the other OECS member states relate to or have the same amount of strength or the same amount of teeth, because we have some laws that don't have teeth. They're just there for style and fashion. But we have to ensure that we have laws with strength and laws with teeth on this matter if we are to collectively fight the issue of human smuggling. And the information that I shared with you also mentioned that human smuggling is not the only issue the Caribbean region is facing. The Caribbean region is also facing the issue of the smuggling of firearms, which Caribbean leaders have spoken very passionately about and have done the necessary things in their home country to ensure that they combat the issue of the smuggling of firearms. Because again, we don't, to my knowledge, we don't make guns, we don't make firearms in the region, but they are here left, right, and center. So obviously they are being smuggled into the region, and something must be done. There must be active action. That might be redundant, but you know what I mean. Active action on the issue of the smuggling of firearms, the smuggling of narcotics, and the smuggling of people, of humans. So there must be harmonization. If the region itself is saying to the rest of the world that they want to fight these different criminal activities. Because again, it goes back to instability and insecurity, where these migrants now have to rely on the state to take care of them, depriving people who are here legally an opportunity. Because you come here illegally, and so now the government has the onus to, has that responsibility to look after you. It is 11:27. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll open the phone lines and we will begin taking your calls to get your views and opinions on this matter. We'll take a break now. And when we come back, we'll continue our conversation.
This or any weekend, pack the car with family or friends for a quick getaway to the sister island. MVI Connect makes your cross-channel getaway stress-free with its on-time, consistent, convenient, comfortable, and safe cross-channel auto ferry service. It's simple. Go online to iConnectSKN.com. Book a departure and return time that's convenient for you. Arrive at least 15 minutes before departure. Show your QR code, drive on, turn, and park. Then drive off. MVI Connect. On time, every time. MVI Connect, bridging the crossing. Online ticket purchase encouraged to guarantee your trip. Ticket purchase at dock may be available if space allows.
The National Bank Sokomanak Teaser Tent moves to the newly renovated and spacious Kuwait City Bar and Garden in the heart of Charlestown this Saturday evening, June 22nd from 8 p.m. Go and see Deli Rants.
Got the iPad you like a TV, everything you do them a copy. I know owe nothing to nobody. Breaking news.
Speedy
Feeling good, yeah. Ready to play in my sandwich, I mean I love it.
and easy.
We want more. Dance when it's roll without a control. I'm hopping on something tonight.
As they warm up for their historic performance at the 26th Annual Sinkins Music Festival. Also appearing will be Empress, Climate, Daddy Toasty, Desi, Hollywood and Keto, Pakis, Rokodan, Speedy, Westside, Jeezy Sparta, Reiko, Rax Brown, Invincible, Rax Kelly, Easy, T-Bone, Big Six, and Adoa. Itebelis will host the evening's event, and DJ Toby and Selector Bobby will keep the session going all night long with the latest Culturama Soca selections. So, if you're looking for a place to enjoy delicious food, top shelf drinks, and the latest soca music, join the soca train this Saturday at Queen City Bar and Garden from 8 p.m. for the National Bank Soca Monarch Teaser number 2. Make sure not to miss this event because this one will be jiggy. Celebrating culture, embracing history, it's Culturama 50.
Health-wise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. We'll open the phone lines now and begin taking your calls at 465. Let's take our first call for the morning. Hello caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Devonne.
Good morning, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You?
I'm doing well.
Okay. I'm glad you could too. Now, Devonne, let me put down the headline. The good book which is the Bible says, the love of money is the root of evil. And we know that evil means wrong and bad. Now, St. Kitts and Nevis, both of us are one country. And I know that St. Kitts has one airport that is a legal airport of entry. And Nevis has one too, which is legal airport of entry. St. Kitts has two seaports legal of entry. One in Bastia and one over the Southeast Peninsula. Now, are there any immigration over the Southeast Peninsula to check those boats when they come in after hours, after 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon? And they're going to come, some of them going to come ashore or whatever it is. Any immigration over there for them to check in with? And custom officers?
Well, when you say...
Yeah.
When you say the peninsula, you're talking about over there by Reggae Beach, where you come from Nevis and go to... Where you... The boat travel between St. Kitts and Nevis there?
Over there where they got the marina and everything over there, Southeast Peninsula. They developed place over there.
Christoph Harbour?
You're right. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Over there. Anything
okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to give incorrect information, but I want to believe that because when the yachts come, they don't just come into the country. They have to be cleared. So
yes, they have to be.
I believe there are immigration officers over there. I'll confirm. I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, I like what you said. They have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if you remember, some years ago, a big ship came in over on the Atlantic side of Frigate Bay, and it let off its dinghy, and some of the sailors on that ship, they come ashore illegally over there, and they were trying to hide the purpose of reason why they were in St. Kitts. And only to find out, they went down and threatened a university that we have here in St. Kitts. Tell them if they do not stop doing what they're doing to animals, what they would do to St. Kitts economy. So we have a lot of open ports where people who got money just come in. Not only the people them who in Haiti who just go on a cruise in a broken wooden sloop, and they mash up and they drift. We got a lot of people with money just break in, like I said, and them they also need to be checked.
I think it has a lot to do with properly policing the waters and the Coast Guard really doing their work.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will always try to enter people's countries, one's country illegally. That is always going to happen. But it is what you do to prevent it from happening.
That's right. Anyway, Devon, I'm going to give people more time because a lot of people would want to weigh in on different things. So let me get up here quickly.
All right, and thank you for your contribution to the program. The phone lines remain open and we take your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. You are listening to The Edge for Thursday, June 20th, 2024. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. So it has to do with the proper policing of waters. So yes, the legislative framework in terms of having the necessary laws, those two are definitely important, but prevention and properly policing the waters and all of these things are necessary. But I'm going to back check that to ensure that I have the right information. So the report that I was reading for you guys earlier, right? It went on to speak about updating legislation on smuggling of migrants and that it plays a key role in safeguarding vulnerable individuals and intercepting and dismantling criminal networks. So we know there are criminal networks that support these things, and there are people who would draw out their whole savings because they want to go to another country in search of a better life, but they don't want to do it the legal way because of the possible challenges that they might face. And so instead of doing it the legal way, they have decided that they're going to do it the illegal way. And they're going to risk their lives to enter one's country with the necessary approval. Policing. So, by establishing a legal framework to protect the rights and security of migrants, states can contribute to preventing the exploitation and dangers often associated with irregular migration and discourage migrants from resorting to these networks by establishing safer migration practices. Updated laws in line with international standards can ensure the criminalization of smugglers instead of criminalizing migrants, and enable law enforcement agencies to target and disrupt organized smuggling operations. Moreover, these laws facilitate international cooperation by aligning with global efforts to combat transnational crime, allowing countries to collaborate effectively in addressing the complexity of cross-border smuggling. The legal framework also enables the allocation of resources to address transnational crimes, allowing, for example, the creation of specialized units, training programs, and support systems. It says that legislation on the smuggling of migrants serves as a cornerstone to promote ethical migration, respect human rights, and maintain the rule of law in the context of border management and the fight against transnational criminal activities. Now, in the CARICOM, the development of regional legislation means that several countries can share similar measures on migrant smuggling, offering significant benefits, including making legal processes more efficient, improving cooperation, collaboration, and relations, reducing costs and procedural complexity, and enhancing cross-border security. These are things that we must not take for granted. We cannot continue to take these things for granted. But again, I go back to that word of harmonization. We can't on one hand say that in one member state, we're going to be serious about anti-smuggling. We're going to be serious about implementing the necessary laws and whatever measures. But in another member state that is in close proximity to the other, that has the framework, then you're wasting time, or you're not implementing the necessary measures, and you're defeating the purpose. We keep saying that the region needs to stand together, band together, and fight against crime and violence. But if there's no harmonization, then what are we going to do? Let's head back to the phone lines. We have a caller on the line. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
All those people that come, all those foreigners that coming in the country, they're coming in illegal or legal. Because every day you see some new faces and they get in work. Why that supposed to be? One time they had hold up a man in a boat over Canary Way, had some spying glass, was spying in St. Kitts. We never hear not a thing about that again. See you. They must done with it.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution to the program. It's 11:41, and we're taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. I hear you, caller. What I will say to that is, we can't assume that when you see new people in the country that they've come here illegally. At the same time, we can't rule it out. I'm being realistic and fair here. So every time you see a new person, you can't assume that they got here illegally. People migrate all the time. People migrate all the time. You could catch a plane right now and go Antigua, and somebody gonna say, she coming here on a boat illegally, because it's the first time that they're seeing you. So I think it is perhaps how we are conditioned to think. If I go to a country for the very, very first time, the people they are going to know that I'm not from there. And if they have an issue in their country where human trafficking is prevalent, first look at me. They're going to say, well, who he be? What he doing in our area? You know, but that may not be the case. It could very well be that I went on Caribbean Airlines and I booked a flight and I went to the country legally. But I'm not saying that they're not cases of human trafficking or human smuggling in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the region. So thank you again for your contribution to the program. It's 11:44 and we are taking your calls. Call us 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. That is our overseas line. Call and lend your voice to the conversation at hand. If you are just tuning in, I shared earlier that the Anti-Smuggling Act was passed in the National Assembly on June 14th, and that piece of legislation is basically a response to the growing issue, and it's a growing issue because it keeps happening. The growing issue of migrant smuggling through the Federation's territorial waters. And this law is a step in safeguarding our borders and protecting the lives of vulnerable individuals. And as I mentioned earlier, people spend their all so that they could migrate to another country. They don't want to go through the legal process. They don't want to do all of that. They just want to hop on a boat and go to another country, even if it means that they are risking the lives of not just themselves, but they are risking the lives of women and children, in particular children. And that is sad. That is the harsh reality. 11:45, let's take this break, and when we come back, we'll take your calls here on The Edge, ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Development with policies and plans. Let's change our ways, protect our lands. Get involved, every child, woman and man. Island resilience has got the plan. This is my land, my island, our home. It's time to come together to keep her forever resilient and strong.
Island Resilience, promoting a climate of change. The Climate Change Adaptation and Sustainable Land Management Initiative of the OECS Commission, funded by the European Union.
Welcome back to the program. We have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Devon. I return. Now, Devonne, is over a year, or maybe over 2 years, that a case of smuggling drugs into a territory. It was on the airwaves. And recently, these past 2 weeks and this present week, that case has been talked about again. And it's not only the garbage pan eater does things wrong like that, you know. A man who eating out the garbage pan, the authorities who are supposed to enforce the law, they might see he with a marijuana spliff. It depends on who he is and where they are. They might try to arrest the man. But look at those white collars crime that those white collars wearers are committing. Cocaine, when nobody expect them there to be doing that, and them they're doing that. So if them they who making a big bomb size of money and they still want more upon that, what to say with the little poor man who ain't making nothing? Who got it want more, and nobody suspect that will happen. But see there, what happened in the dark got to come out in the light. And that the Bible don't go wrong when the Bible says something like that. So let it look to see all who does a lot of things wrong. Lot of things when they're looking on the small poor man. I mean, wrong is wrong. I don't care who it is. Wrong is wrong and right is right. And anybody I know consciously awake and aware of what they're doing is wrong, and I get to know, I'm going to lash them publicly. Thank you, Devonne.
And thank you, caller, for your contribution to the discussion. It is 11:50 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. And the phone lines remain open. We take your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Again, if you're just joining the conversation, we are on the topic of human smuggling and laws, or the bill that was passed here in St. Kitts and Nevis. It is the Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2024. And as I mentioned, it is a robust response to the growing issue of migrant smuggling into either island or through the Federation's territorial waters. And human smuggling involves the illegal transportation of people across borders for financial gain, often under perilous conditions that endanger the lives of those being smuggled. We have heard of many instances of people dying and people losing their lives because of migrant smuggling. We have a call on the line. We'll take this call. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. And
could you speak up a bit, please? I'm not hearing you clearly.
good morning and a blessed good morning to the.
I'm hearing you now. Go ahead. Good morning to you as well.
Yes. As my grandmother used to say, prevention is better than cure. I mean, it's unfortunate that our law enforcement agents are not able to cover the entire border of our country, right? But maybe other mechanisms can be put in place. Maybe some sort of technology. So if the Coast Guard cannot be at point A, but then there's some sort of technology installed at point B and point C, probably we could use that sort of mechanism to prevent the act from being done, because having all of these perpetrators being brought before the court, that takes up time and our resources, and so forth. And another thing, there were times political interference makes the prevention of such crimes difficult, because someone might take part in such a crime and because of who they are, and because of what party is in office at the same time, they might not be penalized. And then others on the outside looking in might say, okay, well, I believe I can get away with it too because he or she got away with it. I believe I can do it as well. Yeah, so that's all I have.
Mm-hmm. All right, Carla, thank you for your contribution to the discussion at hand. It's 11:52. Do we have any more callers on the line? All right, the phone lines remain open and we're taking your calls. I think we can take one more call before we wrap up the conversation for today because we have to make way for the midday newscast at noon. But I also wanted to share quickly some factors that contribute to human trafficking / human smuggling in the region. Both individual factors and outside circumstances contribute to human trafficking. Within and from Latin America and the Caribbean, individual risk factors include poverty, unemployment, membership in an indigenous group, illiteracy, a history of physical or sexual abuse, homelessness, drug use, and gang membership. These are some of the factors that contribute to human trafficking. Poverty. You want to leave your country because it is not getting any better for you. And so you leave in search of a better life. And poverty ties right into unemployment. You can't find jobs. You can't find employment. You can't find a way to feed your children. You can't find a way to feed your family. Drug use and gang membership. You're a part of a gang. And the gang has decided that they're going to move to this specific state. You don't have a choice. You have to move with them. And so these are just a short list of the factors that contribute to human smuggling. Ladies and gentlemen, I am out of time. Let me say thank you so much for joining me in the program for today. It was a healthy discussion, and I look forward to doing so again with you tomorrow. Same time, same station. You guys take care. Enjoy your lunch. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Have a good one. Stay with us. We have our midday newscast coming up in a bit.